Democratic mayors are increasingly pressing President Biden and the federal government for help on immigration. New York City Mayor Eric Adams told reporters that the Big Apple needs much more federal help to deal with the massive influx of migrants coming to the city. Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott has aggressively sought to slow down the influx of migrants crossing the U.S.-Mexico border through his state, including busing an estimated 80,000 migrants to other states since last year.
We cannot allow buses with people needing our help to arrive without warning at any hour of day and night.
Meanwhile, Secretary of State Antony Blinken was in Mexico meeting with Mexico President Andrés Manuel López Obrador to discuss ways to stop the border crisis. Here with the latest is The Hill's Rafael Bernal. Rafael, thanks for joining us. Democratic mayors now, like Eric Adams from New York City, they're urging President Biden to do more on immigration. But what more can he do?
Well, he could coordinate, for starters. I think that's the big demand that they've had. And really what's surprising is that it's taken the mayors so long both to ask for something that's specific, just coordinate, tell us when people are coming so we can make plans and give us funding, of course. There's always funding. And to take action against the busing from Greg Abbott. I think a lot of immigrant advocates will approve of what Eric Adams is doing and really just asking for a little coordination, knowing when the buses are coming, making sure they show up in daylight hours, just very basic things that hurt Greg Abbott's political benefits he gets from this program and help them actually coordinate the migrants arriving to their cities.
Well, put the border crossings in perspective for us, because we hear all of these numbers, 80,000, nearly 500,000 who have been placed back to their country of origin by immigration officials. So how much of an increase are we seeing, are we witnessing? Where does this compare with years past? And what's the forecast for next year?
So 16 of the last 24 months, we have seen more than 200,000 encounters between Customs and Border Protection and migrants without prior authorization, whether they're just like trying to cross and sneak into the country, or like the majority cross and request asylum at either a port of entry or between ports of entry. That number, it really is a lot. It reflects a very large movement of people. It reflects a big change in how migrants can get to the United States and where they're coming from. First, the migrants were mostly from Mexico for many decades. Then Central America joined Mexicans and around the Obama administration. And over the past 10 years, we've seen a steadier flow. So it is a very large migration phenomenon. There's no doubt about that, and there's full agreement on that. Now, the other point is, are 200,000 people a month or 200,000 encounters a month more than the United States can handle? And that question obviously is debated. It is currently more than the Border Patrol can handle in terms of just processing these people. And that's part of why President Biden wanted more funding in a supplemental that ultimately didn't happen. But the U.S. economy is also demanding more workers. So that question's up in the air. But without coordination, it's really difficult to answer the what happens the day after they come question.
Well, and now, according to the Democratic mayors, it's not up in the air. You have Mayor Adams, you have the leaders of these major Democratic cities who are saying that the federal government has to do more, that the commander-in-chief has to do more on immigration. And when you look at the politics of this, polls suggest, and I was just in the Decision-24 crosstabs, polls are suggesting now there has been a seismic shift in terms of public sentiment on immigration, particularly amongst moderate voters from the summer of 2015, when we first heard Trump say, build a wall, to where we are now. So what impact politically is this having on moderate Democrats and moderate Republicans, Rafael?
You're exactly right. It's moving a lot of moderate voters. It's turning them off from immigration, people who would normally welcome migrants. But it's really that chaos at the border, the lack of resources, and the chaos after the border in the way migrants are distributed through the United States. There simply doesn't seem to be a plan. There really isn't a plan that's being affected. And you're right. The political consequences aren't good for President Biden, aren't good for Democrats, and they're terrible for migrants who, under other circumstances, might come here and might be welcome to receive a job or just receive safety of being in the United States, and now are sort of embroiled in probably the biggest political fight that we're going to see coming up to 2024.
One word answer, yes or no, before I let you go. Congress will enact major immigration reform legislation in calendar year 24.
No, probably.
There you have it. There you have it.